It's Monday, April 26th, and today we're going to talk about anime. You're listening to Fight Knows About Everything, a Night Shift Radio original. For more information, visit nightshiftradio.com. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Fight. Thank you so much for joining me on Fight Knows About Everything. I super appreciate it. Hey, if you want to know about all of the happenings going on in Night Shift Radio, we have so many things happening. We have 6 podcasts that have weekly episodes, so you definitely want to check those out. We have a live concert series that's happening just this past weekend. If you guys watched our Left of the Dial live series, you saw Longneck perform live in our studio, and she performed a really great concert for you guys. And this coming Saturday, we actually have another concert with artist Kaylee Goldsworth is going to be in our studio performing live. You can watch the show for free on YouTube if you go to leftofthedial.live. There will be a link at the end of this video for those of you watching on YouTube, and for those of you listening on your podcast player of choice, just head to nightshiftradio.com. There is a link down below where you guys can check that out. But of course, signing up for the mailing list will basically help. That's where we send out all our notifications to let you know the things that are happening throughout the week. You know, my episode, I have 3 episodes a week on this show. Never Heard of It as 2 episodes a week. Superpod HeroCast does an episode every other week. We have Set Condition 1, Left of the Dial, a podcast, and Left of the Dial Live. There's just a lot going on. Our weekly newsletter is the way to go. We only send about 1 a week, so you're not going to get flooded with a bunch of nonsense. But today we're going to talk about anime. And very specifically, we're actually going to talk about a very specific anime that's new to Crunchyroll, that was a highly anticipated fan favorite, it kind of falls in like the slice of life comedy ecchi, I guess, style. I don't know. I'm versed in anime, but I am not versed in what you would call this, I guess, romantic comedy. It falls in the romantic comedy. But the name of this anime is Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. So this originally started off as a manga, as most animes do. This was written and illustrated by Nanashi, which is also known as 774. The web manga began its serialization in Magazine Pocket, which is an online app based web manga published by Kodansha, which is like literally one of the most popular manga series, and then eventually became an anime television series adapted by Telecom and is currently airing on Crunchyroll here in America. So the plot of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, as dictated from Wikipedia, is when an introverted male student meets a girl called Nagatoro, his life is turned upside down. She first quietly observes his reaction to verbal abuse from some other high school girls that are not well-meaning, realizes that oddly enough in his case it may be exactly what he needs, and so begins a sequence of her teasing him. It soon becomes increasingly obvious to the reader, to the watcher, not to him, that her teasing is actually sardonic, well-intentioned, and flirtatious, but he eventually starts to catch on. Now, this anime, this isn't very new. This sort of character, this sort of otaku type boy who meets this over the top girl character, and we get that sort of like Sundeer, I hate you, I love you sort of thing, is not new. However, the big controversy that's happening right now, which of course, because we can't have nice things, eventually turned into this really weird like incel attack, is that some of the English translations for the anime Miss Nagatoro, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, is seeing a little bit of pushback because Miss Nagatoro uses a couple of terms that seem very modern, seem things that maybe a Japanese high school student wouldn't use, which I question. And so it's just becoming this thing. So more specifically, in one of the latest episodes, Miss Nagatoro says, "You've been acting sus this whole time." Now, sus is a term that's become mostly popular due to the popular game Among Us. It is the term that's used in that, and it actually ends up being more of a meme, if not anything, if anything else. However, saying sus as a sort of a shorter version of suspect is not new. It's not new for Among Us. It just wasn't as popularized or memed as it was because of that game. And a specific Twitter user, which I'm not going to call this person out because honestly, they just turned it into this crazy incel racist rant, and, they can go jump off a bridge for all I care, figuratively speaking. But the whole point is they're saying, no Japanese student says this, but I'm sorry, man, I have a 9-year-old, and she says the word all the time, nonstop. Obviously, she's not a Japanese teenager, but still, internet culture is pretty much worldwide. Among Us was one of the most popular games last year. For most of last year, it is a free game on iOS, and it's only like $5 on your computer. I absolutely believe that a teenage girl who knows video games, we see in the latest episode that she does in fact play games, and is aware of internet culture, that she likely have used this term. Now, these sort of like evolution of language has always been an issue, and a lot of people see things like this, where they, we talk about one of the most recent thing, I guess not recent, but things that came up not that long ago, was like the word finna. I'm finna do this thing. And that was everyone was kind of, going into that and being like, that's not even a word. It's just this word that was made up. And yeah, it's a combination of words, but the English language evolves. Another really great example is literally. People don't use literally the way that they mean literally. Most of the time when they say literally, they mean figuratively. But you know what? It's evolved to the point where literally now means however you use the term literally, because language evolves. I watch TikToks, often, and I've stumbled across linguistics TikTok, which, by the way, is one of the most interesting things. If you at all care about linguistics or language and stuff like that, find linguistic TikTok. It is the coolest subculture out there, because they talk about things like this, like sus and literally and all these other terms. There are entire words that we just straight up don't use anymore. There are entire letters in our alphabet that we straight up don't use anymore. They just like there is a letter for the sound th. Like, there was a letter for that. There's just, it's a whole thing. And I think anybody that nitpicks on these specific things because it's not the vision that you think it is, look, translations are hard, especially from a thing like Japanese, especially from other languages, because there's social context that's involved in them. As an example, a thing like sus. Maybe she doesn't actually say the word sus in Japanese, although a lot of people, have commented back on this person, basically saying like, this is actually very fitting for her character. If you know past the anime, like her saying something like this is actually very in line with something that she would say now. Maybe you don't use it because you don't like Among Us, but this person would. Nagatoro would say sus. And in fact, she may even be saying sus as a play to the main character, whose name, by the way, is Naoto, or they just call him Senpai. She may even be doing it to make fun of him because he's an otaku. He's a video game nerd. He's a manga nerd. So she may even be using it to be like, you nerd, you use this term. We don't know, but translations are hard. Context is hard. And also translations are rewritten to match the way that the mouth moves. Now, it used to be back in the day. We think of old things like original Dragon Ball. Speed Racer was a perfect example where they didn't do that. They were direct translations. So you would see somebody say a thing, and then the mouth would continue to move, or you would say the other way around. The mouth would, mouth two things, and then they would say this long out word because, the words are different. The language is different. It doesn't translate directly the same way that it would. It's not going to have the same sort of syllables. It's not going to have the same sort of cadence as it would from one language to another. And this goes the case from any language to another, minus some languages which are very, very direct. Spanish is a really great example, which it's pretty direct. There's the things like thes and ands and buts and all that kind of stuff that land properly, and you can kind of get the same sort of cadence. But languages like Japanese, Korean, Chinese, most African languages, Arabic languages, they don't line up that same way because they're structured completely different. They're not based off that same sort of kind of language structure that a language like English or French or Italian or Spanish is. But that being said, people just get wound up over things because they have an expectation in their head and they become so spoiled in thinking that their expectation is fact instead of opinion that they get upset about this thing. This person on the internet, again, I'm not going to call this person out specifically. I don't think they're worth the time, but their opinion is something that needs to be talked about because it's a bad opinion, because they're accepting it as fact. And then they go on, this racist, like this very bad tirade. This person calls out gays, black nerds. They use the term trannies, which is, is a terrible term, and linguists saying that, that this is not how this works. They even say like no Japanese girls use African-American vernacular, which is wrong, because if you absolutely go to trending on like in Japanese culture for music, hip hop is one of the largest trending musics in the world, hip hop and pop. So like everybody is listening to things like hip hop. They're not going to be listening to something like hip hop a lot and then not pick up terms from it. Like that's not going to happen. Like there are so many very popular rap and hip hop songs that were worldwide successes. And like, this person being like, that's not my vision for how, Japanese people speak. You're like, dude, you don't know. Like that's, that sort of culture is very popular worldwide. Like Korean rap is huge, man. Like BTS is very like K-pop, but like Korean rap, Japanese rap, Chinese rap, Russian rap, like it is very popular. That culture, that hip hop culture, is a worldwide staple in a lot of people's culture. So yes, people probably do pick up terms like that. That probably originated from African-American or black rappers or stars and stuff like that. So like, chill, dude. Your opinion should not be stated as fact, because in this case, it is not a fact. You can't back that up by fact. You're just upset because you don't like black people and your anime had black slang and you're mad now. It's dumb. But anyways, if you guys are interested, check out Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. It is streaming right now over on Crunchyroll here in the US. I also recommend I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 Years. That's a really good one. It has a much longer title, but I forget it. That's also a really good anime I'm actually really enjoying, as is Tokyo Revengers. That's another good one I would definitely recommend. Really cool time travel theme in that one. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching, everyone, and we will be back on Wednesday.